Hello everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear. Today I got stuck inside because of the coronavirus. So I went to go on a hike and the trail that I wanted to go to is closed along with my second and third option trails. So I figured today I would do a couple of fun indoor shoots, things that would be difficult to do outside anyways, but I do intend to keep doing most of my videos out on the trail. Today I wanted to show you a collection update. Since I just began this channel, and it's kind of a starting point in a way for me, even though I've been collecting knives for quite a while and active in the community on Instagram, I figured this would be a fun way with the start of my channel to show what my collection is as of today. So starting out, we have the Spyderco Rizzenti Paysanne. This knife is super fun. I just got this a couple of days ago, and I have struggled to put it down ever since receiving it. Just an awesome buttery action, really cool integral design. This is a super fun knife. Today I did a how-to video on removing the anodization from that clip, and I think it looks so much better now. Really dig this. I'm gonna move through pretty quickly without reviewing each knife, just so that I can show you what I've got. This is also pretty new to me. This I got at the same time. It is an M390 Paramilitary 2 with Flytanium scales. If I'm being totally honest, I may sell or trade this soon because I'm not sure if I like it as much as just having a normal Paramilitary 2, which leads me to the Paramilitary 2 to end all Paramilitary 2s. This is the new River's Edge Cutlery 10V Paramilitary 2, and I've wanted it for a super long time. Immediately threw an MXG Gear deep carry clip on it, and it has been fantastic. So this, I believe, is my forever Paramilitary 2. Next, we have my Paramilitary 3. This is the Maximet edition with these awesome gray G10 scales. This wasn't an exclusive, but I believe it is a Sprint. You can see from this clip that I carry this quite a bit. It's wearing a Lynch Northwest Para 3 specific deep carry clip. This was the Para 3 that I wanted to be my user. Maximet is an awesome steel, and this has been the one that has stayed, even though I think it's like my 8th or 9th Paramilitary 3. So this is the one that kind of, I think, is going to go along with that 10V Paramilitary 2 and just be my forever Para 3. Next, the last Spyderco I have right now. This is actually kind of only a few Spydercos. Usually I have more than this, but I just let go of my Shaman and my Smock to get other things to try. This is a Spyderco Yojimbo 2. This is the standard version, CPM S30V steel in satin finish, but you'll notice it does have these textured G10 scales on it. These are aftermarket scales. I believe they're made by Putnam, Putman, I don't know how you say it. When I traded for this knife, the previous owner already had these scales for it. He just hadn't put them on yet, so he sent it with the scales, and it's been really cool. I really like the extra grip that they provide. This is a really cool knife. There will be a review coming on this guy soon. I also heat anodized this hardware and put a Lynch deep carry clip on it. Really like the Yojimbo 2. Next, we have the Microtech Ultratech Bounty Hunter Hellhound Edition. This knife is just absolute goals. Super fun knife. I play with it all day long when I'm at home. Recently watched all of Star Wars since I've been on quarantine, so you better believe this was in my hand as I did so. Really cool knife. In my opinion, the coolest version of the Ultratech you can possibly get. Next, this knife was a gift from a loved one, so it will be with me forever. This is the Zero Tolerance 0350. This knife has seen a lot of use. It's been sharpened. I use this knife for a lot of really rough tasks, and it just takes it all. No problems, no questions asked. It is the assisted version. They only made this knife assisted, I believe. I'm not sure, they might even still make this knife. Anywho, I'm not a big fan of spring assist, but like I said, this one was a gift from my girlfriend at the time, now my wife. So this is going to be my knife forever. Really like this Zero Tolerance because it's got that sentimental value in it, and it's just a great, really solid knife that I can go to work with. So there you have that. Next, also a gift from my now wife. This is the Zero Tolerance 0620 in LMAX blade steel, Emerson design. It's got the Emerson Wave, thumb disc for deployment. It's a fantastic knife. I really like this. It's a little bit tactical for me to carry all the time, but it does make it in the pocket fairly regularly. Rides on washers. It's nice and smooth. Titanium frame lock. It's a great zero tolerance. Next, we have the ProTech Mordax. This is the collaboration between ProTech, Massdrop, and Ferrum Forge. I guess now they're just called Drop. This is in CPM 20CV, milled handle version. Really fun knife. This is a fidget toy if I have ever had one. Just super fun to engage and disengage with that button lock. They've nailed the detent on it. It is an awesome knife. Next, this one is kind of a surprising budget knife for me. I got this when I was just starting out into collecting. I didn't have very many knives at the time, and I didn't want to spend too much on a knife, but I really liked JB Stout designs, and I found the Boker Lancer, which is a JB Stout design, as you can see, in D2. It's a steel frame lock. This knife has surprised me like crazy. It fits super well in my hand. It's a great user. I pull out this knife when I need to do something a little bit gnarlier than I want to subject one of my really nice knives to. But it's held an edge super well, being D2. I've only stropped it a couple of times. You can probably see there's some imperfections on that edge. This is a total user for me, and I've beat on it pretty bad, but it's been great. The only gripe I have about this knife is the pocket clip. I'll probably talk about that in a video review about it, but super fun knife. G10 show side, steel lock side, really cool. Next, this knife was actually my dad's, and he gave it to me a few years ago. He carried this knife for quite a while, and then I was really excited that he eventually handed it down to me. This is the Benchmade Sentinel. You can tell this is a really early Benchmade because even within the butterfly, it says Balisong instead of Benchmade, and then under it, it says Benchmade USA. But it's a titanium, I guess it would be a liner lock, maybe a bolster lock, because these scales are split, they're multiple piece. It's tipped down, right hand carry only. It's an Elishewitz design. Really interesting, cool knife. You'll notice this is, I think, my only semi-serrated knife. I guess maybe down in the budget end of my box I may have a few, but this knife is super cool, really smooth. It's an interesting knife, and it'll be one of my forever keepers because it was my dad's and it was handed down to me. Let's see. Next, we have another Benchmade. At the moment, my only other Benchmade, which is funny. I feel like I never keep Benchmades for very long, except for this one. This is the Bug Out, the Ranger Green version. In some lighting, it looks kind of green. Some lighting, it looks kind of tan. But, yep, it's got the S30V blade steel. This is the coated version. This knife is just fantastic in the pocket. You can see there's some wear on this coating because I beat the crap out of this knife. I use it for all kinds of stuff. It goes in my pocket a ton because it just weighs nothing. It's super slim, and it's just a joy to carry. So this is the Benchmade full-size Bug Out now that there is a mini one, and pretty soon I'll be getting one of those mini ones, probably with the white scales and black blade, because it'll be a cool Stormtrooper edition to go with my Microtech Bounty Hunter. But there's the Bug Out. Next, we have the Summit Knife Half Dome. This is a knife that I won in a giveaway from Advanced Knife Bro. Shout out to him. This is a really cool little titanium frame lock, an M390. Super interesting, super different design, and this makes a great fifth pocket carry. It's a nice little guy. A lot of the time I do like to carry a secondary knife, so sometimes that's the Bug Out, sometimes it's a Pilar, sometimes it's this guy. But yeah, one of those smaller knives that I can just kind of stick anywhere, and it works great for me. Next, I have the CRKT Pilar in D2 steel with carbon fiber show scale. This knife I actually just announced today I'm doing a giveaway with, so peep that video if you haven't seen it already. I'll be announcing the winner of that giveaway, closing it on Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. So yeah, this will not be here for long, but it's a really cool knife. Somebody, I hope, is going to love it as much as I have. So there's that guy. Next, this is a funny one. This is a knife that I got at the Cold Steel parking lot sale at their headquarters in Ventura years and years ago. It was just a super cheap, good deal. I'm not sure even what blade steel this is. It's a Cold Steel Voyager backlock, back when they were making them in Japan. They may still be, I don't know. But yeah, definitely not my style anymore. I used to keep this knife in my cycling pack, the Camelback that I'd wear road biking or mountain biking. And it's definitely seen some use, but it's a nice solid little backlock, and something that I do not mind at all just shoving into a backpack somewhere. And if it gets beat up or lost or destroyed or whatever, it would be no sweat off of my back. So still lives in the collection for that kind of purpose. Let's see. Next, same kind of deal. This is an old CRKT M16 that I had, I think, when I was a kid. I probably got this when I was like 10 or 11 years old, and it's just pretty thrashed. There's rust spots in a lot of these places. The action is garbage. The centering, believe it or not, is actually really good, but yeah, there's just, that deployment is terrible. This is kind of before they were putting good detents in knives. Yeah, really kind of beat up, and it's just something I've had for forever, so it keeps on sticking around. I just noticed it says Taiwan on there, so I don't know if they still make them in Taiwan, but this one was, and it is not a great example of one. Not something I would carry anymore, but just lives in the knife box now. Next, this I kind of bought as a joke because I'm in a group chat on Instagram with some guys who are diehard Strider fanboys, and I've never owned a Strider, not a real one. I guess I've had some of the ProTech automatic versions, but this is just like the DH-Gate. I think I got it on AliExpress, super cheap clone of a Strider, and it is disgustingly bad. I think I paid like $13 for it, shipped from China. It's gross. Yeah, just a terrible, terrible knife, but it's a joke more than anything else. So I keep it around just so I can troll my friends who are actually into Striders and like paying $1,000 for knives that I frankly don't quite think justify that price tag. But that's a story for another time. Next, this is another knife from before I was really into knives, but carried knives all the time. This is back when HK knives, ooh, that's not gonna work, were made by Benchmade. So yeah, this is quite a few years old at this point, half serrated. You can see there's quite a bit of wear there at the tip. This is a knife that was in my pocket a lot for a long time before I was really into knives, at least like I am now, because ever since I was a little kid, I carried a knife, but I was much less indoctrinated than I am these days. So this is assisted, believe it or not, kind of a weird Spidey hole assisted, half serrated, but the ergos are actually pretty good on it. It's very thick, pretty heavy, tip down only, but it served its purpose for quite some time. So I still hang on to it because it's probably not worth anything to anybody else. So I might as well just have it around. Next, let's see, we have, this is one that my dad got for me quite a few years ago. It's kind of a multi-tool mixed with a knife, but most multi-tools don't really serve as a good knife. They more so serve as a multi-tool. This is kind of the opposite. It's a real pocket knife. This is the Kershaw. I don't remember what this one is called, but apparently it says on here it's a G&G Hawk design, which is interesting. They make awesome knives, but this is a very like budget, big 5-buy, and all things considered, it's done really well for me. Basically, it's just an 8CR13 MOV Kershaw with built-in bits and a screwdriver. So yeah, there you have that. If you need a screwdriver, you can have it built into your knife with this G&G Hawk Design Kershaw. This one was a gift, and it does come in handy when I don't want to go find a screwdriver or dig one out of the toolbox. I can just grab this out of my knife case, and yep, I've got a flat head and Phillips heads right there, and it comes in handy that way. This little guy lives in my folding knife box just because it's so tiny, but this is the Tactiki with an actual blade in it. Now, aside from my Scorpion Paramilitary 2 that I just got, this is the only other thing I own in 10V blade steel, which is really cool. Blaze from Tactiki is a really nice guy. I've gotten to know him quite a bit since I first placed an order with him probably 2 or 3 years ago now, when Tactiki was just starting out. Thought they were a great idea. Now I keep one on every single set of keys that I own. And so when he came out with these, he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to buy one of the first ones. And I said, of course. So this is a really cool Tactic with an actual blade and a Kydex sheath. That's in 10V, which is really cool. So, yep, that's a little bit of a unique one, but I really like it. Lives in the knife box. And everything else that I own is a fixed blade. So we'll start with this guy. It's brand new to me. This is the BGM Pike. This one's a compound grind. Really, really cool knife. I don't have the sheath on it because this one lives on my pack now. You can see I've got a couple videos up of me trying that out on my hiking pack, and it has been doing fantastic. So the sheath is on my pack. Otherwise, I'd show you how the sheath goes, but I couldn't put my whole backpack here under the camera. So there's that. Next, I'll show you what used to live on my pack up until a couple of days ago. This is the Essie Azula 2. You'll see there's some pretty gnarly gouges in the plastic here from me going through brush and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's got this clip, which did great for retention on my pack, although it did kind of wobble around a little bit, which is part of why I've liked having the BGM on there lashed in real tight. But I've got my Carta scales. It's a 1095 little baby fixed blade, and this was awesome for vertical carry on my pack for a long time. I've done this edge on my Lansky a couple of times now. I've gone through it a number of times to where it was too dull to use and had to bring it back to sharp. And this knife has seen some stuff. I've even batoned through steel cable that was wrapped around a tree and had just been locked on there for way too long. The tree was starting to grow out of it, so I saved the tree's life from it by batoning through it with this little guy, believe it or not. It's done some serious chores, and I've been nothing but happy with it. So this knife is going to stay mine forever. It's just not going to serve that same purpose of being on my pack like that. So there's the Azula 2. Next, we have my bushcrafting knife. This is the Tops 10 Imboca Puko. This is a fantastic bushcrafting knife. My Carta scales, G10 liners, 1095. It's designed to strike a fire steel really well. This knife is a great belt knife for hiking, camping, anything bushcrafting related. It does awesome. Next I have, this one's been in my collection for forever, another old Cold Steel that I think I got at one of their parking lot sales. This is the Cold Steel UWK. And as you can see, in my youth, I put a lot of use on it. I haven't carried this in years, but it's a really cool clip point, kind of buoy shaped blade. And I don't know what it's made out of, probably AUS 8 knowing them, although it's from quite a few years ago. So I don't know, but it's a really cool fixed blade, kind of a fighting knife, clip point, buoy. Yeah, it's an interesting one, and I still like it enough to keep it around. Plus, it's probably not worth much. Next, we've got my Dawson Custom Explorer Elite with my Carta scales. Just did a review on this guy a few days ago. As you can see, I have put a lot of use on it. She has seen some miles, but it just really takes everything I throw at it and chews it up and spits it out. It's been fantastic. It's a great 52-100 custom fixed blade. I really like this knife, and it's one that my dad gave to me quite a few years ago, so it'll be mine forever. Even if he hadn't, this is still a knife that I would keep forever, even if it wasn't sentimental like that. Nice Kydex sheath. Yeah, just a great knife. Next, I've got this Cold Steel Drop Forged Hunter that I need to rewrap the handle on. I just got one of these for my buddy because he hikes with me a lot and needed a pack knife. And I had this one and had just kind of been doing some testing with it because it was relatively inexpensive way to get a nice, robust 52-100 pack knife. So I cord wrapped it for him and gave it to him, and his cord wrap turned out way better than the one that I've had on here for a while. So I'm going to be rewrapping mine like that one. But this is just, yeah, a really cool kind of budget pack knife if you're looking for something cheap. And it's been a great knife for me. Comes in a nice sheath that works really well. And yeah, it's just good Cold Steel, solid quality. Next I have this. I don't know who makes this one. I got this from a buddy on Instagram. He listed it for real cheap, so I just jumped on it. It's a D2 fixed blade made by CFK Cutlery Company. I don't know what that is. For all I know, they're one of those Pakistani companies. I shouldn't throw shade. I don't know whether they're actually nice or whether they're not. But I think I paid him like 35 or 40 bucks for this. got my Carta scales, really thick blade stock. It's D2, so it strikes a fire steel pretty well. And this is just like a user chore knife for me. And for that purpose, it's done great. Takes an edge really well, holds it decently. And yeah, just kind of a cool older school style micarta belt knife. And last but not least, this is a custom fixed blade that actually I kind of designed. So my friend Kyle, who has played around with making knives a fair bit, also does some modifications and all that. He's on Instagram as ST Knife Mods. Yeah, he's pretty local. We've met up a few times. I need to refinish this because, like a chump, I left it in my sheath unoiled. But yeah, this is a knife that I kind of drew and sent to him, as he said he was going to try to start making some fixed blades, and he went ahead and made it for me. So he did this awesome, his kind of signature analyzation here on these titanium scales, and then he ground this 52-100 nice and thin, so it's super slicey. Just a really cool kind of sentimental piece because I was involved in making it in a way. He took my drawing and made it a reality. It's something that I drew in my office and became a real thing. So really cool. He made this sheath as well, which works great for it. And I still need to put a clip on here. I need to figure out what clip I'm going to run and then make that happen. But yeah, this one's a really cool custom that was designed by me. So those are all of my fixed blades, all of my folders. I may have something tucked in a bag or in a car somewhere that I'm not aware of. But yeah, overall, that is my collection. And I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. I'll probably update this, I don't know, maybe every 3 months or 6 months or at least every year to see how it changes over the time, because I do a lot of buying, selling, and trading. And a lot of these pieces will be a little bit fluid and can move around a fair bit. But some of them are knives that'll stay forever, so it'll be cool to see which ones stay, which ones go, and kind of the rhyme and reason behind those decisions. But hopefully you found this enlightening. That's my starting point collection video.